Getting knocked down on the football field makes you tough. But getting back up makes you tougher. At Goodyear, we call that determination. A willingness to put in more hours, more reps, and more heart to reach a bar that's sky high. Because the Goodyear blimp doesn't show up for just anybody. So don't be just anybody. Be blimp-worthy. Goodyear, more driven.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head to death. Worry about my posse getting jumped. Cause if we ever do, yo, TB, pop the trunk. Cause we make a pop the trunk and hit the switch.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
He is Jalen Anthony Rose.
What up, Dell?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in.
Together, we are Jalen.
Hold on, hit the brakes, Reg. You messed up the intro yesterday.
I did.
You messed it up again today.
I did.
What's wrong with your focus? It's because you winning championships now?
I'm not focused.
Your rec league won a championship.
We're champions, Jalen!
And all of a sudden you too large
We're
for this show.
champions, Jalen!
He's just too large for this show.
I need a new show.
So you want me to take my name off and just be Jacoby today?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Michael
Now we're talking.
LeBron who?
Now we're talking.
Steph who?
Welcome to the next 90-minute podcast where we just talk about my rec league championship.
Jacoby gets chips.
My bad. Keep going with the intro.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
What do we do? I'm playing.
It's the new style.
We're Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We get the people what they want.
So I'm going to make a request of the people, Jalen.
Let's get it.
You know what I've seen a couple times on social media?
What have you seen?
I've seen young children doing our intro because they listen to it in the car and their parents play the show. Usually it's a dad playing the show. And there's always...
And moms. Big shout.
There's always like a 5-year-old that knows the intro by heart. I want those videos. I want to see more of those videos. If your child knows the Jalen and Jacoby intro, send those videos to @Jalen and Jacoby on Twitter and especially on Instagram. And just understand, we might use it on the show.
And our goal, and we talk about this from the beginning, is to give the people what they want. And if you take the time and the energy to listen to our program enough times where your son or daughter can learn any parts of the intro, we're impressed by that.
We'll use them.
And we will use them on the show, on the podcast. Make sure you send them to @Jalen and Jacoby, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on Facebook, definitely on IG. We appreciate the support. Keep the videos coming. And one more thing. We kind of fell off with this.
Well, no, we never fell off.
No, this thing I'm about to say we kind of fell off with. We got to own.
We fall off on a lot of things.
We need couples to start back calling in.
Yeah.
Couples. If you're a young lady to listen to the show, get your boyfriend, somebody you're dating, your fiance, your live-in, your husband, or just a dude that you know to call in with you.
We love couples. We love power couples.
And in reverse, we support, love, and honor power couples, friendships, and we want you guys to be a part of the program. So call and ask us questions. We'll give advice, we'll give suggestions, and we'll put you on the program.
Great call, Jalen Rose.
We got to make that a day. We got to make that a day.
We do it. Yep. Thrilling game last night. No, I'm not talking about my rec league championship game.
Congratulations.
I'm talking about the Toronto Raptors.
We got one ring combined.
Hosting. They gave me a hoodie. Hosting the Denver Nuggets. Jokic was dealing. He had so many dimes in this game. Jokic was dealing. He had so many dimes in this game, and they were just close at the end. It came down to this. Look at this shot. Bang. It didn't count, but it was still a good shot from the Joker. But it was close, and the Denver Nuggets won, making them now tied for first place with the Clippers. Jalen, I'm going to start. I don't believe in the Nuggets. I don't know why. Even still, I just don't think they're deep enough, but they keep winning games. They're in first place. Can you see them continuing this hot run.
You're doing the media thing when you say you don't believe in them. In other words, you don't think they can win the championship,
No.
they won't.
I don't think they host the playoff series. I think they slip to like the 6th seed.
I think they have what it takes to host a playoff series, especially once they get Will Barton back. And for those that have been following the best taste-making show in the industry, this one right here, Jalen and Jacoby, my partner David clearly showed you guys that the Nuggets have an elite starting lineup. I've talked about the Denver Nuggets since the draft, in particular taking a flyer on Michael Porter Jr. and also Isaiah Thomas because they knew what you knew. And so now as the season starts, Jokic has become the best passing 7-footer that the game has seen.
Facts.
Since Wilt Chamberlain.
Yes, he reminds me of Sabonis. Not Sabonis that's playing on the Pacers. Like, he reminds me of Sabonis' dad.
And if you think about it, he's had 15-plus assists 3 times. The only 7-footers to have done that the last 30 years, let me see, none.
Ooh, research.
There are point guards that haven't had 15-plus assists over 3 times. So what does that say to me about his game? It's a ground game. He's not a leaper.
No.
He has all of the requisite skills, though. He can shoot it from 3. He has a great pace and feel of the floor.
Great touch
Around the hoop. Terrific rebounder. And when you are a great passer and you're getting the dimes, people just look at the stat sheet and think, oh, okay, they're numbers. But that's an IQ. I know where you like it. I know that he's going to jump off the right leg on the right side of the hoop. I know that he likes to shoot it from the left corner. And that pass where he slingshot it to the right corner.
Sling pass?
It's just insane.
Beautiful.
So I'm not surprised by the success of the Nuggets, and I do think they have what it takes to be a top 4 team in the West.
I love their starting 5. But Trey Lyles, minutes. Torrey Craig's getting minutes. Mason Plumlee's getting minutes. Monte Morris is getting minutes. It's just, I think they have a depth problem. I really think they do. I think they have a depth problem. And when I watch these games, I'm like, wow, they keep winning. Huh.
Gary Harris has dealt with injury, being in and out of the lineup. But the thing that unlocks their team for me, besides Murray, who we already talked about, this was going to be a breakout backcourt, is that Paul Millsap has found his groove.
He has.
He was the Western Conference Player of the Week. You know who playing the Western Conference? LeBron James is out there. KD's out there. AD's out there. Paul Millsap won Conference Player of the Week.
Now, you know I read like headlines in the first or second paragraph of a story and then pretend I read the whole thing. You know I do that thing? Well, I read this whole Ringer profile on Jokic, and it was the thing when he caught on the team, he wasn't confident. He didn't feel like he was a leader. And Millsap at one point was like, this is your team. Like, you are it. You're our guy. And ever since then, he's kind of been unlocked. And the Ringer was predicting a breakout year for him, and he's lived up to it. I mean, 15 assists. 15 assists, 11 rebounds, and 23 points. That's huge. That wasn't the only game in the NBA last night, Jalen Rose. The Warriors came out to play. They were in Atlanta. And Steph Curry, with his second game back from injury, you know he put 27 on the Pistons on Saturday. What did he do? He started the game 6 for 6. 6 for 6 from the field. He outscored the Hawks by himself in the first quarter. Jalen, are you surprised to see Steph just right back where he left off?
I'm not surprised. He initially played against Detroit, second game at the Hawks. Steph Curry is a player that when we talk about building a team around, I always have to be the person in the room and bring his name up. It's like people start naming so many guys, and I'm like, have you forgot about Steph Curry, a guy that shoots 50 from the floor, 50 from 3, 90 from the line? The only unanimous MVP, has won 2 regular season MVPs, has won 3 championships, and is going to be there pre-KD and post-KD, playing great basketball. No, I am not surprised to see him.
He might have had a little extra motivation in this one. Let's listen to some of his post-game comments about Trae Young.
It's getting old, to be honest. I mean, again, he's his own player. Just like when I was a rookie, Steve Nash's name was thrown out there a lot. You take that with respect and understand it's flattering, but at the end of the day, that's not going to carry you through the league. It's what you do with the opportunity you have in front of you. So I've been blessed to have had a lot of success and experience in the league. Obviously, you expect Trae to kind of carve out his own lane and again be himself. He didn't have to be anybody else but himself.
Translate that for us.
So it's up for me to do the why? Why do people keep doing this comparison? One, they are built, frankly, the same.
Mm-hmm.
They both have unlimited range.
Deep range.
Each is a terrific passer. Each is a really good ball handler. And so when you're now the person that people are on playgrounds trying to be, Steph Curry, because you're not this physical specimen like a LeBron James. You're not a 6'11" player with a 7-foot plus wingspan like KD. Or you're not a 7-footer like AD. The common player, the common fan wants to be like Steph. And then all of a sudden, there actually is a player that is in the Steph Curry mold. Mm-hmm. Of course he's going to be compared to him. Now, am I saying he's going to be the level of player Steph Curry? No. But guess what? Probably no one is.
No.
He's carved out his own all-time great niche. But in saying that, I do think he's going to be able to be productive in a lot of ways we've seen Steph be productive in the league.
Well, KD played as well, and when he went to the free throw line, the Hawks fans serenaded him with this.
He has scored 20 or
well,
more.
You couldn't hear it, but there was a huge section of fans screaming, "Draymond hates you," while he was at the line. Jalen, do you think KD has a good attitude about this? Do you think he finds it funny? Does that bother him?
I think he has a good attitude about it, knowing that this is going to be their final season playing together. But when you're in Dallas and you're in Atlanta and people continue to bring up team turmoil, unless you're the Golden State Warriors that at some point of the year are going to start 5 All-Stars, it does play a factor in the psyche of a team. And I understand that they will get by it, but this will be the final season for them to do so.
Well, you remember last NBA Finals and playoffs when the Warriors just basically just blew everybody out. They were easily the best team. It didn't even seem like there was much adversity or anybody in their way. And then there was this report from Marcus Spears when he tweeted, quote, "Warriors forward David West says there were a lot going on behind the scenes that people will be shocked about when it comes out. People will be shocked about this when it comes out." I was hoping that maybe there was like a fist fight in practice, or people didn't like each other, or there was some real problems or some real drama, something serious going on behind the scenes. Well, guess what? Now we know what that report was about. Your man Sam Amick from The Athletic reported, quote, "An outside vendor who handled the team's food on a daily basis contracted a contagious form of the disease, meningitis, then survived a life-threatening challenge before eventually returning to work with the team." Jalen, I'm really disappointed that this was about someone contracting meningitis and then the team having to get vaccination.
Shout to Spears, the OG. Shout to Sam. Whatever David West was alluding to is something he still hasn't spoke publicly on. And
it can't be meningitis, right?
What ends up happening in a successful dynamic is you usually don't talk about the things that brought turbulence when you've accomplished what they have. Mm-hmm. Now, if they would have got bounced, then it would have came out quick. And so this level of success becomes the best deodorant for some situations that clearly haven't been as smooth as you would like them to be from the outside looking in.
I'm going to make a confession then ask you a question. Do you know what meningitis is? I don't know what meningitis is.
I don't.
I don't either.
Men in, I don't know.
Let's give people what they want.
Did you know ADT can design and install a smart home just for you? A new smart home at your service, customized for your lifestyle. ADT professionals can even show you how to use your new smart home features. Now, that's what I call warm-up service. It's all controlled from the ADT app or the sound of your voice and backed by 24/7 protection. Visit ADT.com/smart to learn more about how ADT can help keep your home safe and smart.
We have a very special guest. Meek Mill is in the studio.
Yeah, what's up? What's cracking?
Welcome, family.
Thank you so much for coming through, man. I appreciate you for taking the time to be here. Tell us about the new Project Championships.
Championships, the hottest thing on the street right now. Before I put it out, I was relentless nights in the studio, 7 days a week for months straight. Put my all into it. And, you know, I just released it to the streets, and they ate it up. They've been loving it since.
Congratulations for anybody that's followed our show for the last 8 years.
Yeah.
They know that we are huge fans of yours.
Yeah, definitely.
Not only because you spit bars,
Yeah.
consistent, but the way you comport yourself when turbulence happens.
Yeah.
We talked about scenarios when you had rap beefs. We talked about your relationships.
Yeah.
We've talked about everything. We've had Meek Millie days, weeks, and months on this show.
Yeah.
So appreciate you joining us. 19 songs, championships. How does it feel? You trending,
First of all,
winning?
I appreciate y'all because, you know, in the business, in this game, the new support through social media and things like that, everything is so fickle. So it's rare you find people who stick with you through your whole path, no matter the ups and downs. And I could just tell from the pictures on y'all wall and the type of culture that y'all stand for that this is my life.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying?
We appreciate that.
Mike Tyson, B.I.G., Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Ice Cube, Jimi Hendrix. It's just like everything I represent all in one. So, you know, championships, 19 songs of content.
All anyone's talking about right
bars,
now. All
melodies,
anyone's talking about is your album.
I knew people would like it, but I didn't think the reaction would be as much as it is. And, you know, I'm just grateful for everything that's going on.
What about a couple of relationships that I've seen you grow with? Relationship with Rock Nation and Jay, your relationship with Puma, and regardless of what you've dealt with, it seemed like they've been front and center for you.
Puma has been there through my ups and downs. Jay-Z has been there through my ups and downs, and they almost made it like these the type of people I want to do business with. I know business not supposed to have any emotions attached to it when it comes to making moves, but the way our relationships was built from Rock Nation to Puma, they've been through with me top to bottom, through heaven and hell, and you know, we back doing it how we supposed to be doing it, and you know, they're right here by my side.
Well, I know I appreciate you doing this show, but we're just a small show. I saw you on the New York Times.
Oh, yeah.
You're doing a video for the New York Times. Like, that's an official journalistic publication.
Yeah.
And you're speaking about criminal justice reform. And can you just echo some of the efforts that you're making to help people that didn't have the resources that you had to kind of get out of it?
I'm just using my voice for the voiceless. I feel like it never been someone who spoke on these platforms in these times, because of course you have Tupac and people before me who, Muhammad Ali and things like that. In these times, who's speaking up for the voiceless? I actually was behind the wall with some of these people who are innocent. Some of these people who are serving years in jail for smoking marijuana when it's legal in a bunch of states. And, you know, I felt like God just placed this burden on my shoulders to be the voice, and that's what I'm gonna do. I always tell people I don't want to be an activist. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a father. I want to be the guy that come from the streets that prevailed and, you know, show people a way to make it to the top. An activist is not really my role, but I do want to play a part and make a change and help change lives.
And that leadership and that maturity through this album played out right in front of us.
Yeah.
Because you had a notable beef.
Yeah.
With Aubrey Drake.
Yeah.
Who's now featured on the album.
Yeah.
So what was that
phone
call?
He is on he on the album.
That's what I said. He's featured on the album. So what was it like? What was that phone call like even to squash that?
Me and Drake, we've been kicked it probably about a year and a half ago. Like, people used to always be trying to connect us because a lot of people that I'm cool with, he cool with. So people used to always trying to connect us, but it was times that we wasn't ready to do that. You know what I'm saying? And one day I think one of us DM'd each other. He might have DM'd me and I DM'd him back, and we just was busting it up. And, you know, we ain't see each other for 3-4 months after that. And then I was at a club. He was next door at a restaurant. We was in contact with each other the same day, kicking it through the DM. And when he got on tour, you know, we connected again. And I came out in Boston. I came out of the show in Boston.
Dope.
And, you know, it was just about moving forward and being grown. It's for the love of the sport. We make music. We battle. You got to take punches. You got to give punches, and you got to be ambitious and keep your legacy going. And that's what we did.
That was a big moment.
Yeah.
We enjoyed watching that. Like, we watched that video over and over again. So I want to transition to your Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah.
Now, you have added Jimmy Butler. So here's my question for you. what are you doing what is your role in trying to keep him in Philly? Because he's going to be a free agent. Have you reached out? Have you kicked it with him? Have you taken him out? Have you done anything yet?
Actually, I ain't even running to Jimmy Butler yet. My album, I was on he came probably, 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
My album just came out last week, and I was finishing my album, so, I wasn't able to make it to any games or anything, but last time, I think it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we played Jimmy Butler, and we talked a lot of trash from the sideline. He dropped 50 on us that night. I had a different respect for him from that night on out. And this one, he was playing for the Bulls. He gave us 50. I was like, dang, we got to be quiet next time. We got him back. I know, all the team owners, I make sure I put that bug in. Let's keep this guy.
You take him out. Take him out on the town a little bit.
Yeah,
show him what Philly has to offer.
Yeah, when I get back, I'm going to bring Jimmy Butler a Dream Chaser chain on behalf of the Sixers and the Dream Chaser family in Philly.
Can you just, while you have this platform, talk about your love for Philly and how you always put on to it? Now, as somebody that was a player that was a visitor, only thing I know is cheesecake and Delilah's.
Yeah.
Now, I know about that.
You know enough. You know Delilah's, you know enough. My love for Philly, it comes from being a baby, man. It made me who I am. It gave me the ambition to go through the lows. When people was telling me I was at my low, I was like, I come from Philly. This the gutter. This the trenches. This is the low. I got a Maybach. I'm still doing it. I'm in the best point of my life. But that kept my drive up. Or even when I go home right now, it always humbles me when I go to my city and see the things that people going through and how strong they remain and how hard they fight to make it to the top. So, Philly means everything to me. We rep that through thin and thick, no matter what's going on. And that's what made me. That's what built me. They supported me before I was on. Before I was in the industry, I was like a big rapper in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. They supported me nonstop. So shout out to Philly.
Well, shout out to you for coming through. Thank you so much for joining us on Jalen and Jacoby. The new album is Championships. Anytime you want to come back, we're welcome to have you. We're definitely going to put you on the wall.
Yeah,
my man Meek. Thanks so much for coming.
Down.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, yeah, hell yeah, anytime too, man.
I knew this company was going to blow up. I knew 4Hims was going to blow up, and they are starting to blow. You see their ads everywhere because they have such good products. Here's the thing. 4Hims.com, it's so easy to use, and they've got things that you need. And here's one of the things that I'm talking about. I sit here in the studio every single day. I look across the table, and there's Jalen Rose. And there's Jalen Rose and his perfect hairline. His perfect edges. It doesn't even look real. It looks like a Lego hair that someone popped on his head. And then I have to look at my own picture in the monitor. I have to look at my own picture. And I see them creeping back in the corners. Like, I see it. And I'm obsessed with it. They got the studio lights on my head. I can see right through my hair. I can see that I'm creeping in the corners. 66% of men start to lose their hair by age 35. But the thing is, when you start to notice that you're losing it, it's not too late. It's easier to keep the hair that you have than replace the hair that you've lost. So if your hairline is starting to creep in the corners a little bit, you feel a little bald spot, your friend's starting to make fun of you a little bit, here's what you do. You go to 4Hims.com. It's a one-stop shop for hair loss, skincare, and sexual wellness for men. Trust me, 4Hims is so easy to use. Thanks to science, baldness can be optional. 4Hims, you go there and they connect you with real doctors that give you medical-grade solutions to treat hair loss and skincare and sexual wellness. They have well-known generic equivalents to name-brand prescriptions to help you keep your hair and save you money. There's no waiting room. There's no awkward in-person doctor visits. They just answer a few quick questions. A doctor reviews your answers and then prescribes you exactly what you need. And the products get shipped discreetly, directly to your door. Order now. Our listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now while supplies last. See the website for full details. This could cost hundreds if you went to a doctor or a pharmacy. Go to 4Hims.com/JANDJ. 4Hims.com/JANDJ. FORHIMS.com/JNJ. Remember, baldness can be optional. If you're creeping in the corners like me, go to 4Hims.com/JANDJ and get that taken care of. Jalen Rose, I always say in life, keep expectations as low as possible. Kobe Bryant was at the All-Access event at Staples Center, and he didn't exactly keep expectations low for the Lakers. Let's hear what Kobe said. He said, quote, "They have a determination to figure it out. They will figure it out. They have talented pieces. Rob has put them in a position with incredible flexibility. They will figure it out." He went on to say, "So, enjoy the journey, because we'll be champions before you know it, and then we'll just be laughing at all the Warriors fans who all of a sudden came out of nowhere." Huh. We'll be champions before you know it, and we'll be laughing at Warriors fans. What's Kobe doing?
He played in the league 20 years, and during that period of time, the Warriors clearly didn't have this level of success.
No.
They weren't consistently making it to the playoffs, definitely were not advancing. So as he now looks in the mirror, he remembers going to the Bay Area and it be littered with Laker fans. He remembers being at home.
That's a good point.
And it was all Laker fans, regardless to who they were playing.
Every gym that he played in, there was purple and gold in the
No
stands.
doubt about it. It's in particular the teams that play in California. So this newfound success of the Golden State Warriors winning 3 championships in the last 4 years has brought out a lot of fans.
Mm-hmm.
Including die easy ones, I'm sure.
Of course. Bandwagon's full.
And so for Kobe, when you're at Staples Center and it's your job to pump up the crowd and to give them some hope and optimism, of course he's going to talk about what they've done and the trek that they've on. The problem is the trek that they're on. The problem is still in the same conference as the Golden State
And
Warriors.
here's another thing is you made a good point, because remember what this is. This is an all-access Lakers event in the Staples Center. It's all Laker fans. It's like a pep rally in high school, and he's just feeling the moment, and he just wants to get that cheer from the crowd. We'll be champions before you know it. When's that going to be, Kobe? Because it ain't going to be this year, and probably not going to be next year. So when exactly is before you know it, Kobe?
LeBron James is playing at an elite level. Until the Lakers get a second all-NBA caliber performer. I'm not talking about an all-star. We've seen some flash in the pan all-stars. I'm not talking about an all-NBA performer unless that guy is consistently on an all-NBA team. I'm talking about an MVP level candidate to play alongside of him. If that does not happen, LeBron James has a better chance of winning an Emmy than he does winning an NBA championship.
Jalen, this show will one day win an Emmy, and we might just leave the next producer I'm about to mention off the list. Because our producer, Demetrius Harris, he sent us this picture of Kawhi Leonard, and he was like, "Oh, we're going to clown him on the show today. You can't go full New Balance. You can't wear New Balance from head to toe." Jalen, explain to Demetrius and our audience why that's the wrong way to look at it.
Can I talk to everybody about their fandom, about the level of how corporate America has you bamboozled, how they have you thinking that's not just a jogging suit with an emblem on it? That's all it is.
It's all it is.
It could be any emblem.
You put a swoosh on there. You put 3 stripes on there. You put a Puma on there. You can put anything on there. It's not like a whack outfit. It's a black jogger head to toe with some brown shoes.
Trust me, as a society, we can't get so caught up in the brand names. That's why I used to love artists like The Roots when they used to drop songs about things like this, because we're blinded by the name and we're caught up in the hype, not necessarily realizing that it's the same material, it's the same goods, it just has a different logo.
It probably comes from the same factory that the other, clothiers get it from. They just put on a different logo at the end. Now, do I think New Balance is cool? No. I'm not a big New Balance fan, but that's because I think the sneakers look ugly to me. It's not because the black jogging suit looks ugly to me. Like we get so poisoned by branding, and this one's cool and this one's not cool and this and that you got to remember, like, it's just a black jogging suit.
And let's not get it twisted.
Demetrius.
When all of us woke up and got dressed this morning, we purchased those items for the most part. He got paid to wear that.
That's a good point.
So who's the fool?
That's a good point.
He's getting paid millions of dollars to wear whatever's on his left side of his chest.
That's not a bad outfit. Probably cold for Toronto. Probably a little chilly for Toronto. He definitely got a big jacket that's not New Balance that he had to take off because he knew the cameras would be around the corner.
I'm Puma for life, no doubt about it. But those New Balance runners, they're part of my history. No question about it.
Not a part of my history. It is now time for News That Matters. Jalen Rose, This is the most important thing that we will discuss today. Now, me and you are happily married men. Very committed, married men. But a lot of people are single out there in the world. And you know what? They're all on the apps, the dating apps, meeting people that way. But still, you'll never believe this. In 2018, people still meet each other at bars and flirt and get to know each other. Single people do that in today's day and age. Well, there was a couple at a bar. And they hit it off a little bit. The guy was, this girl was giving him rhythm, and he was so excited about that, and they're flirting, and they're talking, and at the end, she was going to leave, and he was just like, you know what? Can I have your number? And she said yes. So what did he do? He handed her his phone. What? It's 2018. That's what people do. What? So she started putting in some messaging into the phone. She started doing exactly what you're doing now, and he was sitting there so excited. He's like, I'm going to get this girl's number. I'm going to text her immediately. This is going to be great. She handed back the phone. He looked at it, put it back in his pocket. Was like, oh, thank you so much. Nice meeting you. Politely said goodbye. It turns out that woman did not put her phone number in his phone. She Venmo'd herself $2,000 from his account. I'm going to say this. While it is a felony, it's a boss move.
Yep. It's thievery.
I can't support it, but I can support it. I love it.
It's a boss move. I agree with you. It's also something that should be a lesson. Like, when you have your phone, that in a lot of ways is your sanctuary. It has your personal information in there, has your personal contacts in there.
Every picture you've ever taken,
your videos,
every email account.
Everybody usually stores all of their stuff on their phone. Mm-hmm. So probably if you're going to hand someone your phone, instead of standing there getting geeked because you think you're getting some digits, she actually robbing you.
Well, there's another lesson here, too. If you're going to steal $2,000 from somebody, you might not want to do it where there's a very clear digital paper trail. You know what I mean? Like, it won't be too hard to find out who this woman is.
But also, maybe she wanted to teach him a lesson. Like, I heard you say she was about to get up and leave. Did I hear you say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I embellished a little bit.
So he could have allowed her to leave. But he was like, nah, I got to get...
Are you on Venmo?
No.
I just started doing it. It's a little too easy to give money to people. It's a little too easy. Like, I like having to go to the ATM, get some money. You owe somebody over a bet. Like, let's put some cash on the table. The Venmo's like, it's almost like this is too easy. Also, Venmo setting, public. You have to go into settings and tell Venmo not to tell everybody where you're sending all your money. For real. Can you imagine that? Why would that be the default setting?
I don't think this is cute or cool, or I'm not necessarily proud of this, but I send more faxes, FedExes, UPSs, and wires than anybody in the world.
Jalen Rose on Wax said, I send more faxes than anybody in the world. You're the best.
And so...
You're still faxing?
I definitely would not be a person that has Venmo on my phone, so therefore nobody would be able to take advantage of me like this.
One thing you are a person that has a really good feel for the sports media world and the things that are going to happen on and off the field. And you called Urban Meyer retiring months ago.
It's breaking news. To Jalen and Jacoby listeners, it's broken news.
Right after the controversy about one of the assistant coaches in Ohio State came to light, you said something into these microphones. What was that?
That this will be Urban Meyer's final season as the head football coach at Ohio State.
He had so much success at Ohio State that I did not believe you. He was so successful. He's in the middle of his run. He's 54 years old. I did not believe that would come to pass. And now we have learned that Urban Meyer will retire from Ohio State after the Rose Bowl. I have a few questions about this. I'm going to ask them all at once. Why do you think this news is coming out now? Do you think Urban Meyer is going to coach again in college or professional football?
I think this information is coming out right now because the news cycle is going to talk about this through the Rose Bowl, and it keeps him front and center of the conversation. Public figures, guess what they like? To be talked about, and their accomplishments to be continue to be acknowledged. And also, for a guy who is a 3-time champion, at the beginning of the year when he got a 3-game suspension, for me, it was almost like a salute to the team that had a chance to win a national championship. Mm-hmm. We're not going to blow up Urban. We're not going to blow up our roster. Let's give this one last run. We'll give them a 3-game suspension and see what happens. They lose one game, a horrible loss to Purdue. They crush my Michigan Wolverines, and you win the Big Ten title. And you still can't get in the playoff. Now just think about that. You win the Big Ten, and you still can't get in the playoff. This also is going to affect recruiting. What a lot of people don't realize, dirty pool happens in recruiting.
What?
The other schools come in and they talk about all of your weaknesses and about all of the things that you did or did not handle under your watch. And every other coach in school will be alluding to the fact that he lied at the press conference, that he enabled an assistant coach for multiple years that was allegedly doing questionable behavior. And so it will be tough for him to recruit the way he has at an elite level at Ohio State if he stayed. And plus you win the championship and still can't make the playoff. I think you retire, you focus on family, you focus on your health.
Get your health together.
That's not a front. When you see a guy on the sideline taking a knee because he has health issues, that's a real thing that I take serious for a guy that's in his 50s. But with that being said, you graduate a few years, it's a lot of money in collegiate football.
There is.
And when I see Herm Edwards go back to get a job, and I see Les Miles be out of the league for a few years and go back and get a job, I wouldn't be surprised in another handful of years if he's actually coaching again.
He'll be coaching again. He'll be coaching again. You know, he'll probably be out for 2 years, and then you'll start hearing rumors, and then he'll be coaching on the sidelines again.
And you know what else he'll do? Hire Tim Tebow as associate head coach.
I like
something like that.
Oh, I like that. Well, Tim Tebow's he's on the Mets right now. Him and Robinson.
Well, in 3 or 5 years, he may or may not be.
We're going to bring the Mets a championship next year.
Ciao, Tebow. That's my man.
Shout out.
Tissot is the official watch of the NBA. Each one of Tissot's timepieces delivers quality performance and traditional luxury. The Tissot Chrono XL is a great watch for those looking for a sporty chronograph with Swiss technology at an unbeatable price. While the Tissot PR100 family of watches brings together sporty and feminine details for a collection that is bold, romantic, and ideal for the modern woman. Shop Tissot at us.tissotshop.com and at select watch and jewelry stores nationwide.
Jalen Rose, our guy, Brian Windhorst, friend of the show, he was on the jump. He said that he's hearing from NBA executives that Carmelo Anthony has played his last NBA game. To be fair to Brian, he said that he doesn't believe that to be true. I don't believe that to be true. Question for you. Do you think Carmelo Anthony will play with Jerry West on his chest?
I don't think Carmelo will play in the NBA again.
Really?
Just because of how it ended. Here's how it works. When you get up there in age, the goal is to reinvent yourself. You don't have to when you're LeBron James, who came out in the same draft class, because he's still playing like the best player in the game. Dwayne Wade, same draft class, is in his final year. Carmelo Anthony's kind of in the middle. A guy that can still score the ball, can still be productive on a blank canvas, but GMs and coaches look at it as, wait a minute, OKC has an MVP in Russ, an all-NBA performer in Paul George. You can make it work with them. All right, Houston gave him a shot. They have your best friend, one of them, and Chris Paul, and they have the reigning MVP in Harden. You can't make it work with them. So most coaches off the top are going to be intimidated because when you get hired as a coach, it's to be fired. You don't now want all of the storm to come to your squad about adding him while he can be a productive player, not necessarily a game-changing player. So a lottery team wants to continue to tank. A middle-of-the-road team, job security is a little tricky for a head coach, and the contending team is just that. They're not going to upset the apple cart.
Okay. What about a scenario in which you've brought this up before, someone gets injured, there's a vacancy on the roster, and they could use Carmelo Anthony scoring? You don't see that being a viable scenario?
If an injury takes place, he will be in play, but he won't be the first choice. That's just how it's going to be for a guy at this point of his career that will be in the Hall of Fame, but it's more than his productivity. When you're watching sports, the guys that don't play, it's not because they can't necessarily play. Yeah, the guys in front of them may be better, But also, they sacrifice to work within a team dynamic and do things that you never see. Like in practice, like on the bus, like on a plane. They have earned the trust of the coach and of the organization that goes beyond the stat sheet. And at this point of his career, when you scoff at the notion of coming off the bench in OKC, then in Houston, they tell you that there won't be many minutes left for you because they're thinking about another direction. He could have stayed on their team.
Oh, yeah. They didn't like just wave him and say, get out of here, Carmelo. They had a conversation and he said, I'm not interested in the role that you're presenting to me.
Because that could have happened in Houston. Also, they could have said, right now we don't see many minutes for you. He could have said, okay, cool. I'm here for the long haul. Maybe an injury happens. Maybe you use me.
Who knows?
But they decided, looking each other eye to eye, that wouldn't work. So based on all of those dynamics, I do think he has an opportunity to get paid playing overseas, which is what I would do if I was him. But NBA, I think he's played his last game.
Jalen, Fred Hoiberg has coached his last game for the Chicago Bulls. He was fired yesterday. He went to practice. They told him, nope, you're not leaving practice today, Fred. You're out. And it got me thinking. I was like, usually when coaches get fired, you kind of see like players on that team go to social media and just like support that coach or thank them for the time or just say something positive just to get that out, just to show their support for their former head coach they spent so much time with. Well, our staff did a quick sweep of the prominent Bulls roster, and we have found, I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm saying we did a quick sweep. We have found absolutely zero messages from the prominent Bulls in support of Fred Hoiberg. Does that tell you something?
Usually the support like that would come from players that got drafted by the team while he was the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So Portis, Markkanen,
yep.
Those would probably be the players, if it was going to happen, it would come from. And you say, why wouldn't it come from the other players?
Wendell Carter.
Because they're frustrated by losing. And what ends up happening is you get splintered. And people start to say, I know we're not making the playoffs. Matter of fact, I know we're tanking.
We're not even trying.
But it's not going to be because I'm not doing my best. Wendell Carter's going to say, I want people to feel like I got a bright future. Zach LaVine is going to want people to say they traded Jimmy Butler for me. I got to get numbers. And so it's not necessarily a slight against Fred that they didn't come to social media and talk about how much they appreciate him. I bet you the players did it privately. I bet he got some texts. Coach,
Probably.
Thanks for your instruction.
Probably.
Thanks for a tip that you gave me, that sort of thing. But it's the same with Mike McCarthy. You don't see Green Bay Packers blowing up social media saying, oh, we don't know why our coach isn't here no more. When you start to struggle, everybody for themselves.
Well, Jalen, a substitute teacher teaching a group of first graders in New Jersey did something absolutely unthinkable. Violated human code and human decency. She asked the class what holiday they celebrate, and someone said Christmas. And then she went on a rant explaining that Santa Claus isn't real, reindeers don't fly, their parents buy them presents, and the elf on the shelf gets moved every single night by their parents. What? Jalen, what's the appropriate punishment for this? Like, how many years in prison should she serve?
Fireable offense.
Oh, yeah, you can't come back.
To ruin first graders' thoughts and imaginations and hopes and glory of Santa Claus. Just think about this. Saint Nick is so amazing. I believed in him and knew we didn't have a chimney. I just knew we didn't have a chimney.
yeah, but he's getting in here somehow.
He's getting in here.
Who eats the cookies? Like, my son is 5 years old, and he came home from summer camp this summer and was like, Daddy, someone said that Santa Claus isn't real. And I was like, who is doing this? Like, it's like the fourth graders or whatever. Doing this to children, like, what do you get out of that? What does she get? Like, why does she do this? What is her motivation? Let's put her on the psychoanalysis couch. What does she get out of this?
So what she gets out of it is spoiling the happiness and the innocence of young people. And that's one of the things that you want them to have as long as possible. And that's really unfortunate.
Yep. How old were you when you found out Santa Claus wasn't real?
5.
5?
I'm the youngest of 4.
Oh, yeah. When you're the youngest. Yeah,
it's like, I bought this for you. Okay? You know what I'm saying?
Jalen Rose. There's new news about Kareem Hunt, and it's not good news. There is now another video that has surfaced about a altercation that happened in a nightclub last January where him and former chief, George Atkinson, were out, and apparently he had assaulted someone that was at this establishment. This is a TMZ Sports video. That person then was hospitalized, treated at the hospital, was cooperating with police, then stopped cooperating with police, and charges were never filed. So he was never, ever charged for this. The question for you is, do you think this new video and this new alleged incident will play into whatever punishment is coming down from the NFL for Kareem Hunt?
It should, for the same NFL that heard about the incident around February that has yet to talk to Kareem Hunt. How is that even possible? So when you figure a punishment for him, now they will get the opportunity to take all of the information in totality. And the video we saw of him pushing, shoving, and kicking a young lady, this video and the other one that you alluded to will eventually amount into him getting the counseling and the treatment that he needs. Because the questions I would ask a young person, what role, if any, did drugs and or alcohol play in any of these incidents, or were they a common denominator? Also about any anger or emotional issues. Hopefully he gets the support that he's going to need to move forward as a 22, 23-year-old man that's a functioning member of society. But because our country doesn't punish severely for assault like it does for things like drugs, he will eventually be back in the NFL.
I don't think this changes my stance on whether or not he will play again in the NFL. I still think he will be carrying the football in the NFL, regardless of this video or the last video. It's going to happen again. It's just a matter of time and how long the suspension is.
Geico presents eyewitness interviews with inanimate objects.
This is Belinda Collins, live on the scene of a recent lightning storm. Here to describe the event, a TV tray.
I was watching football and holding a plate of meatloaf when kabam! A bolt of lightning slams into the apartment, blowing out the TV and surround sound.
Anything you could have done to help?
Ma'am, I'm a foldable table, not an electrician.
Your TV tray can't help you in a lightning storm, but the Geico Insurance Agency can help you get covered for personal property damage. Go to geico.com to see how affordable renter's insurance can be.
And, of course, today is Tuesday. What does that mean, Jalen?
It's a day before Wednesday.
Which means,
hey, ladies!
We need female voicemails. Tomorrow is Wednesday, Woman Crush Wednesday, where we celebrate the more intelligent, more responsible, better smelling, and overall superior gender of our species.
True.
So, ladies, make sure you call in and leave us voicemails. Call 985-80-JALEN. Ladies, leave us voicemails for tomorrow's show. We take only female voicemails on Wednesday. Today, we're taking all callers like this one. Oh, Reg is slow. Reg, you didn't know we're going to take voicemails?
What's up? This is Aaron from Atlanta. Shout out Reg. Shout out the whole crew. And I just have a quick cultural regional question. Is boiling hot dogs for lunch cultural or regional? And Jalen, since you spent so much time in Atlanta, I'd love to just give you a few minutes to talk about J.R. Crickets and the greatness that is wet lemon pepper wings. So thanks.
There's a lot there from Aaron in Atlanta. First, cultural regional boiling hot dogs. I never boil a hot dog. I never, ever, ever boil a hot dog. I think my mom did it a couple times growing up. I would never, ever, 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 ever boil a hot dog for so many different reasons. Number one, adds no flavor. Okay. Number two, you don't get any burn marks in the hot dog at all. Everybody knows that a burnt hot dog is a good hot dog. Number three, I'm not waiting 15 minutes for the water to boil so I can have a hot dog. The pan heats up in like 35 seconds. You can even put the hot dog in the pan at the same time you put it on the stove. Why would you waste that much more time to add no flavor? No burn marks. No chance. I don't know whether it's cultural or regional. I just know it's unacceptable. Jalen, you go.
And this is where you get the flavor. The color of the people that's doing it.
Who's boiling hot dogs?
That's what makes this cultural. Are you kidding me?
Who's boiling
Not only did I boil hot dogs, I would boil multiple.
Oh, no.
Here's why.
Oh, no.
I'm going to give you the distinction. You said burn marks.
Yes.
Okay. If you live in the Midwest, if you live on the East Coast, who's going to be grilling some hot dogs that lives in the inner city?
You put them on the pan.
That's not a burn mark.
But then, it burns on the pan and it gets brown.
That's not a burn mark.
It's not a grill mark. It's a burn mark.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Okay. Definitely, I boiled hot dogs. I fried them as well.
Yeah, hot dogs. Well, you actually deep fried hot dogs?
No,
do you have a deep fryer in your house?
I don't know how to use it.
Having a deep fryer in your house, I think, is cultural.
What? Well, having a deep fryer in your house and not using it is probably universal.
Yeah, and also that oil just sits there for so long. Ugh.
It's one of those things
Only
where
one of my friends had one growing up.
So we eloped when we got married, and Molly's parents have so much class. Her mom and her dad were like, "We're giving y'all a wedding party." And they did. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Family
you don't have a choice.
showed
You don't
up.
have a choice in this. We're not asking.
And the other thing that her and Molly did is they got us registered.
Oh.
And one of the things that I realized that people were doing in sending items to congratulate us on being married were things to cook with.
Mm-hmm.
One of those were a deep fryer.
Oh, no.
And I got a great look at it. And you know where it went? To the garage. That's exactly where it's sitting right now.
There's a reason why garage and garbage sound so close. 'Cause it's basically the same.
Well, they
if
near
it's
each
still
other.
in the box, and it's in the garage. I'm just waiting to move so you can throw it away. You know what I realized? I never got you,
I have to
got you a
donate
wedding
it.
present. I never got you a wedding present.
Well, you're giving it to me every day.
No, I know I don't have to, but I'm definitely going to.
No.
I'm definitely going to.
The time and energy that Joey, Molly, Jacoby, and I have on our monthly dinners in New York City is more than enough of a gift.
Excellent. Last time was excellent. Jalen had lobster on lobster on lobster. Boiling hot dogs is cultural. Do you know what? I just think it's unacceptable. I would never boil a hot dog. But there's the flavor that the pan or the grill adds, and then there's the fact, it takes so long for the water to boil. It's just an efficiency thing. I want to take longer before I eat my hot dog, and I want my hot dog to taste worse.
So let me ask you this question. If you were going to make tea or hot water at your house, how would you do it?
My wife makes a lot of tea. I think she has a water heater thing, like one of those white, big pitcher-looking things that you plug in and turn on.
And guess what she does? She puts it on the stove, and she waits 5 or 10 minutes for it to scream, then she stops it.
Yep.
That's exactly what you do with the hot dogs.
Yeah, but you wait 5 or 10 minutes. Guess what you don't have to do when you're cooking it in a pan? Wait 5 or 10 minutes.
It takes time to cook food. I don't want it instant. When I go to a restaurant, I purposely, especially fast food, I purposely add extra condiments. I purposely take stuff off so they'll make my burger, my order unique. I don't want the order that's been sitting there 3 or 4 hours. Not going to be able to do it. I don't like buffets. I don't like any restaurant that I walk in there and the food's already sitting out there. I'm looking at you, Subway.
Shout out.
The food's definitely sitting there.
Sitting out there forever.
Yes. Days. And sometimes the green peppers and lettuce looks a little too green. Looks like a little too fresh.
I'm looking at it.
Did y'all hand paint this? So the next question.
I love deli sandwiches, Reg. I just don't want them sitting out for 24 hours at a time.
Is from Aaron. Last time I had a deli sandwich, you know what they do? Oh, you want ham? They slice it right there. Oh, you want cheddar cheese? They slice it right there. It goes right from the slicer to their gloved hand to the bread.
And if we're talking about my early days of being introduced to cooking, I have to mention fried bologna. Put some slits in it, burn the edges.
That's why it's good. Exactly my point about the hot dogs. Bologna is basically just a big hot dog that's been sliced, and you put it in the pan, get the burnt edges. You just proved my point. I have never been more right than this. I'm so glad you said that, Jalen Rose. No one ever really realized bologna is basically just a big hot dog. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing.
And you don't want to know what's inside of it, or you probably wouldn't eat it again.
No, I do not know. No. So he also wants to know about JR Crickets. And do you know JR Crickets?
JR Crickets, an ATL staple, has great bar food, has a terrific menu, has amazing wings.
Shout out.
No shots.
Wet lemon pepper wings?
No shots. But I'm not a chef, but there's certain things that I cook. And usually when you cook something, that's the standard when you go to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I can't say too many places that I go, and I'm not a chef, but I make wings. I'm not going to say too many places I go and be like, I want to get their wings.
Yeah. My wife has never eaten mac and cheese from a restaurant and be like, this is good. Never. Never, ever, ever. Ever, 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 ever. She'd be like, this is acceptable, but nothing is close to my wife's crack
I didn't realize how large sometimes the drumsticks in particular, or
It's a great point. Can I talk about this?
How big they are until I go to restaurants and order wings.
I want to talk about this. There's really good wings at an underrated place in Times Square called Virgil's. It's Virgil's Barbecue. It's a barbecue place, but it's famous. But it's kind of like all the tourists go there because it's in the middle of Times Square. But they've got really good wings. They grill their wings. They don't fry their wings. But the wings are 3 times the size of wings from like Hooters. Like, what kind of chickens are you getting these from? Like, wait, where are the chickens that are this big and where are the chickens that are that small? Can we get a standard chicken size? Like, for real, they're going with like the Shaquille O'Neal of chickens at this place.
And by the way, the traditional turkey that we eat is the same thing as the chicken. It don't look like that.
Yes. If you see wild turkeys,
it don't look like that.
Wild turkeys are little tiny birds.
It don't look like that. It looks like that after it's been shot up with all kinds of chemicals.
Yeah, all kinds of chemicals. Turkey is the worst thing on the plate.
Looking at you, Churches.
Oh.
Shout out.
Churches ain't sponsoring the show. You got a problem with Churches?
Hey, man, let me tell you something.
I don't think I've ever been to Churches.
Their drumsticks are the size of your body.
You know what's the absolute worst? I'm gonna say this is probably the worst popular food item in the world. The worst thing that's considered like a delicacy. The worst thing in the world. Go to a fair and have one of those turkey legs. Oh no, those
My
are
stomach
awful.
still hurts.
I don't even like seeing people eat those. When I see someone with one of those, I want to respectfully grab it from their hand and throw it on the ground and be like, stomp on it, and then just say, you're welcome. That's what I want to do, and then pay them the money back for it. Like, don't do this to yourself. Is there anybody in the world that likes a turkey leg? Anybody in the world?
Whoa. No, that's a different conversation.
Oh, no. Producer Reg is in my ear. Producer Reg, who wants a microphone, is in my ear. He said he had one at Disneyland last week.
We're not saying anything negative about Disney.
Okay. And he said he's going back. All right. Yeah. Were you with children when you went to Disneyland?
Of course not.
No, that's the thing.
Fun.
No. You got to be with children if you're going to Disneyland. You got to be with children if you're going to Disneyland.
What?
Appreciate everybody.
Yes.
That listens to the show.
Yes.
We'll be back. Why is that?
We're not done. We're not done. We're not done. Got to give the people time. Give people what they want.
They my little guys. I love them.
From our whiskey to our music. In New Orleans, every note matters. That's why every sip of Southern Comfort dances to the same vibe as our birthplace. It can be strong and smooth all at once. And no matter what, it's always authentic. So go ahead, take a big sip. Southern Comfort, the spirit of New Orleans. Discover more at SouthernComfort.com.